Hello everyone, wishing you all good health and peace in life. True happiness is not found in wealth, nor in grand feasts or luxurious houses. Sometimes, it lies quietly in the simplest of moments, like when Huyen and little Maya sit together around a humble meal in their new home. The food may be plain, the bowls may be chipped, but the laughter, the warmth, and the love that fills the air make it more precious than any banquet. In that small house, under the soft glow of the evening light, three hearts beat in harmony. After all the storms they have endured, this simple meal becomes a celebration of life, love, and the promise of brighter days ahead. The golden light of dusk spilled softly through the cracks in the wooden walls, painting the small room in warmth. Outside, the crickets had just begun their evening song, while smoke curled gently from the clay stove. Inside the little house, three figures sat closely around a low bamboo table. It was nothing grand, just a pot of rice, a bowl of boiled greens, and a dish of salted fish. Yet in that moment, for Huyen and Maya, it felt like a feast fit for kings. Lifted his bowl with calloused hands, his eyes quietly observing the scene before him. Huyen, with strands of hair falling loose from her bun, carefully served rice for Maya, her movements tender and full of care. Maya, her face glowing with innocence, clapped her hands with excitement at the sight of her favorite greens, giggling as Bibi the dog curled up beside her feet. For so long, meal times had been moments of worry, wondering if there would be enough food, if the roof would hold against the storm, if tomorrow would bring more hunger. But here, in their new wooden home, everything felt different. The walls might be thin, the dishes humble, yet love filled every corner, every breath, every bite. Smiled through tired eyes as he looked at the two people who meant the world to him. "This is happiness," he whispered, almost to himself. "Not wealth, not fine clothes, not banquets, just the sight of his family safe and together, sharing a meal in peace." Huyen heard him and returned a gentle smile. She reached across the table and placed her hand over his. "Yes, we don't need much. As long as we are together, we already have everything." Maya, not fully understanding her parents' quiet exchange, looked up from her bowl and added cheerfully, "Mommy, Daddy, when I grow up, I'll buy us even more food, and we will eat together every night." Her words were innocent, but they struck deep into the hearts of and Huyen. They exchanged a glance, their eyes brimming with tears, yet their hearts overflowing with gratitude. That night, the family ate slowly, savoring every bite. The sound of Maya's laughter mixed with the rhythm of rain on the roof, and the warmth of the meal seemed to wrap the house in invisible arms of love. It was in that simple meal, under the humblest of circumstances, that Huyen and Maya discovered the purest form of happiness, not in what they lacked, but in the love they already shared. After the meal, Huyen gathered the bowls and quietly washed them at the corner of the yard, her hands moving gently in the cool water. The lantern on the table flickered, casting long shadows against the wooden walls. Sat on the doorstep, his body weary but his heart strangely light, watching Maya chase Bibi across the yard, her laughter echoing into the night sky. The air smelled of wet earth, still damp from the afternoon rain. A soft breeze carried the scent of guava blossoms, and for the first time in a long while, felt no weight pressing on his chest. Instead, he felt a quiet peace, the kind that comes only when one has survived storms and finally found shelter. When Huyen returned, she sat beside Dee. Neither of them spoke at first. Words seemed too small for the enormity of what they felt. Their silence was not emptiness, it was full, like the steady heartbeat of life itself. Maya soon grew tired from playing. She ran to her parents and climbed onto Dee's lap, curling against his chest. Her eyes fluttered with sleep, her small hands clutching his shirt. Dee stroked her hair, his gaze softening. "She is our future, Huyen," he whispered. "Everything we do now is for her." Huyen leaned her head against his shoulder. "Yes, and she will grow up knowing that love is stronger than hardship." Inside the house, the fire had burned down to glowing embers. The family spread their simple blanket on the wooden floor. Huyen lay down beside Maya, holding her close, while Dee extinguished the lantern. As darkness filled the room, the rain began again, pattering gently on the roof. But this time, the sound was no longer a threat. It was music, soft, steady, comforting. It lulled them into sleep, wrapping them in safety. Dee lay awake for a moment longer, listening to the rain and the steady breathing of Huyen and Maya. Tears slipped silently from his eyes, not of sorrow, but of gratitude. He whispered into the night, almost as a prayer, "This is enough. This is happiness." And with that, he closed his eyes, his heart finally at rest, knowing that in their humble home, true happiness had taken root. The next morning, the sunlight filtered gently through the gaps of the wooden wall, casting golden stripes across the floor. Maya was the first to wake. She rubbed her sleepy eyes and whispered softly, "Mommy, the sun is shining." Her voice carried a sweetness that stirred Huyen from her dreams. Dee was already outside, tending to the small patch of vegetables near the house. The sound of his hoe striking the soil echoed in rhythm with the morning birdsong. When Maya stepped outside barefoot, he looked up and smiled. "Good morning, my little flower. Come help Daddy water the plants." Maya giggled and ran to fetch a small tin can. She poured the water carefully, splashing some on her dress, but her laughter made even the clumsiness beautiful. Huyen stood at the doorway, watching them, her heart swelling. For the first time in so many years, she did not wake with fear or worry but with peace. Breakfast was simple: boiled sweet potatoes, a pinch of salt, and tea brewed from dried leaves. Yet when they sat together round the small wooden table, it felt like a feast. Dee peeled a potato and gave it to Maya. She took a bite, her cheeks puffed, and exclaimed, "It's so sweet." Huyen and Dee laughed. They knew it wasn't the food that was sweet, but the feeling of sharing it as a family. Later in the day, Huyen went to the river to wash clothes, while Maya followed with her tiny bucket, splashing water on herself more than on the clothes. Dee carried a bundle of wood back to the house, planning to build a small shelf for their belongings. Each act, no matter how small, felt like a step toward building a life of dignity. As the sun began to set, the sky turned shades of orange and pink. The family gathered once again inside their wooden home. Dee placed a hand on the wall and said quietly, "This house may be small, but it is strong, and it is ours." Huyen nodded, her eyes shining. "It's not just wood and nails. It's hope. It's love." Maya leaned against her mother and whispered, "Mommy, when I grow up, I will build you an even bigger house." The room filled with laughter, and in that moment, under the glow of the evening light, they realized that true happiness was not a distant dream. It was here, in every smile, every shared meal, every new day they faced together. Days passed in quiet rhythm. The wooden house stood firmly, a shield against the wind and rain. Each morning, Dee worked in the fields or helped neighbors for a few coins, while Huyen kept the home tidy, cooked meals, and cared for Maya. Though their life was still simple and hard, a sense of peace lingered in every corner of their new home. One afternoon, Huyen sat by the doorway, mending Maya's dress. The fabric was worn but clean, patched many times with loving hands. Maya skipped around her, humming a little tune she had learned from the neighbors' children. Suddenly she stopped and asked, "Mommy, when can I go to school?" The question struck Huyen's heart like a bell. She looked into Maya's bright eyes, filled with innocence and longing. For a moment, silence hung between them. Then Dee, who had been repairing a wooden shelf, laid down his hammer and joined them. "Soon, my little one," he said softly. "When the time comes, you will wear a white dress and carry your books. You will sit in a classroom and learn everything you dream of." Maya's face lit up with joy. "Really, Daddy? I will study and become a teacher one day." Huyen smiled, her eyes moist. She brushed a loose strand of hair from Maya's forehead. "Yes, my love. You will study, and your future will not be like ours. You will walk a brighter path." That evening, as the family shared their meal of rice and boiled vegetables, Huyen's heart ached with both fear and determination. Poverty still pressed on them like a shadow. Yet she knew in her soul that Maya's education was the light that would guide them out. After the meal, Dee stepped outside and gazed at the night sky. The stars were scattered like seeds across the dark fields of heaven. He whispered a promise to himself. "No matter how hard I must work, no matter how tired I become, I will give Maya her chance." Inside the house, Maya had already fallen asleep, her tiny hand resting on Huyen's arm. Huyen kissed her daughter's forehead and whispered into the quiet night, "One day, my child, you will wear that white dress, and when you do, all our struggles will be worth it." The little house stood silently under the stars, holding within its walls a family's dreams, fragile yet unbreakable. The story of Dee, Huyen, and Maya teaches us that true happiness is not measured by wealth, but by love, gratitude, and hope. Though their lives were marked by poverty and hardship, they found joy in the simplest of things: a warm home, a shared meal, and the laughter of a child. Their wooden house, built through kindness and charity, became more than shelter. It became a symbol of resilience and renewal. From Dee, we learn the strength of quiet sacrifice. He worked tirelessly, often with little for himself, but always with the dream of giving his family security. From Huyen, we see the courage of a mother's love, patient, tender, and unwavering even in the face of suffering. And from Maya, we are reminded of innocence and hope. Her smile and dreams for the future show us that children carry within them the light of tomorrow. This story also reveals the power of compassion. Strangers who reached out with generosity gave more than money, they gave hope. Their kindness bridged distances and reminded us that humanity is still alive in the hearts of many. The lesson is clear. Happiness is not found in what we own, but in the love we share, the sacrifices we make for one another, and the kindness we extend to those in need. Even in the smallest home, if there is love and gratitude, it becomes a place of light and strength.